Jim, you have to look at the big picture. She goes, when I come in every day, you're very dedicated to your one little department. She goes, but you have to understand and step back and look at the $40 million store that we got. Could you do that? And I was like, whoa, that's big. I don't know. Maybe I can. She goes, well, let's try it for today. You are now the assistant store manager for today. And when I call you, you better come. All right, yes ma'am, yes ma'am. She was a teacher. She was a school teacher who this big box company hired because they saw potential in her. And she brought the best out of everyone she came into contact with. Today, she is the director over 2,000 stores. Amazing. I had the opportunity to work with her. She said, you've got to look at the big picture. Look at the big picture in life. Don't just look at today. Don't just look at where you're at. Look at where God's taken you. Look at the big picture. Begin to see God's work unfold in your lives. As you begin to see God's work unfolding in your lives, begin to understand the answer to all those why questions we used to ask. Adrian used to ask a lot of why. Why? Like, I don't understand, like, why? Her thing was like. It was funny. I was their youth pastor as well, but they had a great youth pastor before me. His name was Tom. Wonderful man, wonderful guy. Matter of fact, he would come in fatigues. He would come looking like an army dude. And of course, I came looking like this. And I remember them laughing at me my first Sunday, my first youth night there. I had no clue about youth. I didn't know girls cut themselves. I didn't know guys were looking at things they shouldn't have been looking at. I mean, I was so green, it wasn't even funny. And I remember saying, we're going to talk about the Church of God doctrine today on the doctrine of the church. And they looked at me and said, that ain't never going to fly here. I said, what? But you need to understand, you're going to be the next pastor and next evangelist. They said, no, we're not. We're just kids. And we're just trying to get through the 10th grade. You know, I mean, that's it. And won't you loosen up your tie? Matter of fact, won't you take your tie off? They just started going on. And the next Sunday I came in, I had my jacket off, had no tie on. I think I loosened it up. And I preached whatever message. By the third Sunday, I was broke in. They broke me in good. I came dressed again like this, but I had a message for them about what's on the inside. And I had 2 t-shirts underneath a suit just like this. And underneath, and as I'm preaching, I said, I want to talk to you guys about what is eating you up on the inside. Do you have the fruit of the Spirit, or do you have the works of the flesh? And I started undressing. I took my jacket off, I took my tie off, and I started to unbutton my shirt, and everyone said, whoa, what are you doing? I said, just work with me. They didn't realize that underneath I had a shirt that was torn up, and it had adultery, fornication, envy, strife, and it had gashes on it where sin cuts you to the core. And I preached a message about not letting these things overrule your life. And in the middle of the message, I'll never forget Georgie's face. I said, but God has cleansed you and washed you. And I ripped the shirt off because I had cut it in the back. And I ripped it off, and there was a white, clean shirt. Snow White. And Georgie goes, whoa, how'd you do that? And the message was about being clean before God. Look at the big picture. Learn why we ask why. Number 5, to learn from the process instead of fighting against the process. I remember a time when, and I don't know why I'm using you guys, but you got big shoulders today. I remember during the process, we were at a church, and Anthony was working with me. I was working with Anthony, and Anthony got burned out. He bought him a Mustang. He thought he was something with his Mustang. And he quit coming to church for just a few times. But those few times he missed church, he would come, he goes, I'm hurting. I miss it. I need you. And I told him that, hey, I'm here for you, man. That was part of the process that he didn't like. But guess what? We all go through it. We all go through that process. Learn. Do not fight against it. Experience is the number one thing that's going to take you through life. S is strength. God gives you strength. Page number 5 at the bottom, S. God gives you strength. As we begin to experience, we discover what we used to wear, what used to wear us out, now motivates us.